Hey everyone, welcome back to Verified Gains. Happy Monday. Hope everyone had a good week and a good weekend. And by the way, I just want to let you guys know, since losing one subscriber on the last video, we've gained three more. So thank you very much. I very much appreciate the support. Um, I hope you guys stick along. We have a lot to cover today. We have a lot to cover in Q4. So if you have not subscribed yet and you're into Bitcoin, especially Solana, POPCAT, and or Trollcoin, please make sure to subscribe. All right, let's dive right in. So on the 29th, which is the last time I made the video, we're sort of getting out of this pit. And along the way, we did form this doji pattern over here. Now, this is a little bit different from here, okay? So what you'll notice is this one has a real body that's encompassing. Um, However, here, there's hardly anything. And if you look at the candle, pretty much the low, um, the closing price, okay, which is 109, okay, is pretty much the same as the opening price, which is 109,694. Okay, so this doji type pattern, we don't really need to form a real body to fill in that wick to the downside. Okay, however, I am a little bit concerned about this red candle over here. I'm paying attention to it. Now, this is not exactly a doji, right? There is a real body, but there is a long shadow or wick, whatever you may call it, to the downside. Now, it doesn't always have to fill, but the market tendency does have a tendency to fill this with a real body. Now, since that candle, we've run away, okay? We're way past $117,000. So I'm going to flip this to a support now, depicted by a green trend line. But eventually, the market may decide to retest. Now, that's a scary thought because we're doing so well. So the only other possibility is to keep running away from this. And what I mean by that is, so, you know, for example, like this is an example, right? So we have a long wick to the downside. We never formed real bodies to retest the low at $74,000. We formed this double bottom and then we ran away. Okay. Another example. This is all the way back in August of 2024. Long wick to the downside, never filled with real body, right? We have this nice little pattern, okay? And we actually ran away. So we actually never retested that $53,000 mark, okay? So that's what I'm looking forward to. The only way we don't retest this if we just exponentially move away from this price. And October, aka Uptober, as you guys may call it, I think this is the perfect opportunity to get away from that. Now, look at this one right here. Okay, it's a green candle, but there is a long wick. Now, this is very close to being a doji pattern, so we might not retest it, but something to keep in mind. Okay, so let's say that we have a support line, okay, around $121,000. So we don't really have to keep that line there because I don't find it to be a very strong support line anyways, but just keep that price in mind, okay? If anything, the real support line is probably around $123,000. Now, in terms of M2 money supply, this week we're going to skip that, okay? Instead, we're going to look at the Pi cycle top indicator, which we haven't done in a while. But I think it's one of those indicators that's good to turn back on because now we need to start paying attention of it ever being signaled. And right now, since mid-September, anything's fair game. So from this point on, well, since mid-September, Once you get the pi cycle top indicator, that's it. Okay, that's all fair game. And another indicator to take a look at as a reminder is the RSI 90 that I've set over here. Okay, once that yellow trend line is near 69.70 on the RSI indicator, that's it. Okay, so that's one of two indicators that I'm looking at. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance very quickly. So nearly hit 60%, did not quite hit it. We still have the whole month of October, so we'll see if this is simply a retracement before we resume back to the upside. In any case, for now, because we're not near an alt season, I'm actually okay with this. I actually would not mind a higher Bitcoin dominance as long as it translates to new all-time high in price discovery to the upside for Bitcoin. Okay, and just as we're talking, we're entering $125,000. Guys, we're at all-time high. It's very exciting times for cryptocurrency in general, but Bitcoin in particular. And with that being said, let's take a look at the other layer ones. So let's look at Ethereum. So very nice resumption to the upside. Now, right now, we don't need to see explosive movement to the upside, right? Right now, we're only focusing on Bitcoin entering price discovery. So we want Bitcoin to be as high as possible, as much as possible, around $170,000, $200,000, hypothetically, for the pi cycle top indicator to signal. We would need at least that type of momentum in Q4. However, look, if it ends up being like 130,000, 150,000, I'm going to be quite honest with you. That would not be dependent on some sort of indicator other than the M2 money supply that we looked at on the last video. So if you guys missed that, please watch the last video and comment down below if you agree or disagree. However, until the pi cycle top indicator or the RSI 90 signals, there's not really a evidence-based way for me to say, oh, this is likely the Bitcoin cycle top. Let's take a look at Solana. Okay, Solana, I actually bought more over the weekend. Okay, so right now, this was the trend line that we're looking at previously, right? So there's a nice retest, and then resumption to the upside, but we failed. And then we formed a double bottom around $192, and then quickly recover. Excuse me, quickly recovered above $205. Now, since that point, we retested and we resumed up. However, interestingly enough, okay, we got rejected at the same trend line right here, right? So there's a soft rejection. And so far, we formed another support around $227. And it looks like we're resuming upwards, okay? So now the key point is going to be, are we going to be able to break above this white trend line? So for now, I'm just going to keep it on there because, if things go well this week, hopefully we break above it, or it might not be until this junction right here, which is the intersection, okay, between the previous all-time high, okay, around $267, and the point at which this white trend line intersects. And that's around October 18th. Now, usually what happens is we'll get a confirmation before that. Either we get a hard rejection, okay, or we break out. Right now, people are uber bullish. So my prediction is we actually break above it by mid-October. So we'll see. And that'll depend a lot on the Bitcoin price. So we'll see. We'll wait patiently. Okay, next, let's take a look at POPCAT, my favorite meme coin. And this is the meme coin to get if you're into cat meme coin. Okay, so a lot of people are talking about the dog meme coin versus the cat meme coin. Well, if you're looking to cat meme coin, then this is it. Okay, I think we're going to see a lot more Asian whales coming in, investing into POPCAT. Last time I talked about BitThumb. hopefully a lot more Asian exchanges list POPCAT on their exchanges, and that'd be very bullish for POPCAT. And what do we see here? So last time, we're talking about how we need to break above, this white trend line on the bottom over here. We did exactly that, retested, and we're resuming upwards. Okay. And things are looking pretty bullish. Now, the intersections right now at November 12th, and like I said, I think there's a high likelihood that we'll break out before that. At that point, I'll probably just get rid of this line. We'll keep that. But the goal is to go back up above 35 cents. So that's our price target for now. Until then, every red day means I'm buying more POPCAT. All right, last but not least, the troll coin. Our new new favorite. Well, POPCAT is still my favorite, but this is my second favorite coin. Okay, troll. Heavily, heavily, heavily undervalued. In terms of the meme culture, the significance of the troll meme, I think it's easily up there with Pepe. I mean, even more than Doge, to be honest. I mean, this is the OG internet meme. Now, do I think that it's going to reach Doge level of market cap? Less likely. And we need to think about why. So Doge was really pushed by Elon Musk. Way back when he was actually making tweets about Doge, that's what really catapulted Doge into the stratosphere. That's not really the case for Troll. Now, it's a very good meme, but unless we have people like Elon Musk tweet about the Troll coin, it's going to be very hard for it to be up to that level. However, I still do think that it is up there with multiple coins who have, $2-3 billion market cap. I think it's more significant than those coins. And if that is the case, I'm really looking at least $1 billion market cap. So right here, at 140, $150 million market cap is heavily undervalued. We're still part of the second phase of accumulation, right? So this is the first phase. Okay, that went on from April of this year to around July. And then right now, we're accumulating for the second time. And we've seen this with a lot of large cap meme coins. So this is what they like to do. They like to accumulate. But once you explode to the upside, it's going to be something similar to this. Okay. And I believe that this will hit at least $1 billion market cap. So yesterday, I bought another huge amount of Troll coin. On every red day, I'm buying this in conjunction with POPCAT. So these are the two meme coins that I'm heavily investing into. Troll right now, not as heavily as POPCAT, right? POPCAT, I mean, I've been buying nonstop for a year. That's not the case for Troll, but it's definitely my second largest. Maybe that's not true. I actually do have a larger holding in Dog with Hat and Turbo. So I would say it's like definitely top 5, maybe number 4. Okay. But in the bigger scheme of things, I think there is a possibility that it will do better than Dog with Hat and definitely Turbo. Do I think that it will do better than POPCAT? I think they'll be on the same level. Okay. Anyways, so that's all I have for today. Once again, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you all. If you guys have anything to add, in regards to the meme coin community, troll coin, POPCAT, Solana, please comment down below. I really appreciate y'all's comments. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.